As the frontman of the Velvet Underground and a rock star who became a pioneer and trailblazer who inspired so many artists after him, Lou Reed had a controversial image throughout his career and made many enemies along the way. Here's 3 rock stars who didn't like Lou Reed. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more great videos just like this one. Now, keep in mind throughout this video that Lou burned many bridges with many artists on this list, mainly because he didn't like their music and didn't have great things to say about them when these artists were mentioned in interviews. One of these artists was David Bowie. Now, their friendship, which began in the early 70s, came about after Bowie expressed his admiration for Lou's band, the Velvet Underground, which inspired Bowie a lot. After their first meeting, the two were eager to work together and later collaborated with Bowie's guitarist Mick Ronson to create Reed's second solo album, Transformer, in 1972. After the successful collaboration, the two would remain friends for the next coming decades, all the way up to Lou's death in 2013. However, their relationship came with many bumps in the road, as Lou was a dark, sarcastic New York guy who often was a jerk to others and pushed people away. That's why their relationship took a turn for the worst when Bowie actually tried to help Lou get sober, and Lou didn't take too kindly to that. The incident happened after a show at the Hammersmith Odeon in 1979, when Bowie and Reed got together after the show to grab dinner. During their dinner, Lou said to Bowie if he would be interested in producing his ninth solo studio album, The Bells, to which Bowie agreed. Although Bowie said he would only agree to produce the album if Lou got sober and cleaned up his act. After hearing this, Lou maliciously grabbed Bowie by the neck and punched him in the face. Lou was immediately pulled off Bowie and thrown out of the restaurant, with the two musicians hurling insults at each other on Lou's way out. According to Chuck Hammer, who was the guitarist in Lou's band at the time and who was present at the dinner, the conversation started off very cordial, with both musicians enjoying their night out, before David made the remark that drove Lou mad. Chuck also mentioned that after dinner, Bowie made his way back to Lou's hotel and stood in the hallway waiting for Lou to come out of his room, demanding that Lou come out and fight like a man. Even though Bowie waited outside his room, Lou never came out of his hotel room, and the two never ended up collaborating on the album. Fortunately, years later, when Lou cleaned his act up, Bowie and him made amends and left the past behind them after everything that had happened. Despite Lou being a jerk to Bowie on more than one occasion like this, David always respected him and had a soft spot for one of his complicated rock idols. During a Q&A session with fans over Twitter in 2017, David Crosby was asked about the punk rock scene and different bands from the 60s like the Velvet Underground. To the surprise of many, David said he wasn't a fan of punk music, and in a resurfaced tweet from 2015, David was asked by one fan about what he thinks of the Velvet Underground and if he ever had the chance to meet Lou Reed. In a very short response, David said that Lou and the Velvet Underground were just too dramatic for him. But this shouldn't really be a surprise, given that David rarely complimented other artists and was quite rigid in his critique of different music. Frankzappa was yet another artist who slagged off Lou and the Velvet Underground and spoke out against the band in their early days. The issues between the two artists goes all the way back to 1966, when the Velvet Underground and Zappa's band were both performing at an art show hosted by the Velvet Underground's manager, Andy Warhol, in Los Angeles. During Zappa's performance, Frank made a sarcastic comment about the band and mocked the band in front of the crowd. Frank's jab at Lou and the Underground was especially unwarranted, given that both bands were signed to MGM, and Zappa, as the main rival act, was receiving more promotion than Lou and the Underground. In response to Frank's insults, when Lou and the Underground took the stage, Lou called Zappa out, calling him the most untalented musician he ever heard, later adding that he can't play rock and roll because he's a loser. Even Velvet Underground guitarist Sterling Morrison doubled down on Lou's comments, saying that if you told Zappa to eat in public, he'd do it if it sold records. According to Zappa's bandmate, Jimmy Carl Black, he said that Frank really disliked the band and instantly dismissed them because he knew they were junkies, and Frank couldn't tolerate that. Ironically, decades later, Lou Reed changed his opinions of Frank Zappa and his band when he posthumously inducted Zappa into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and had nothing but praise for the late guitarist. Anyways, guys, what do you guys think of the rock stars mentioned here? Are you a fan of Lou Reed or the Velvet Underground? Let us know in the comments down below, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.